Shields up, Iron Breakers. Rurikhan here coming at you with another video. Welcome back to Monster Hunter World, and hot damn if Arch-Tempered VAAL HAZAK was not a whole lot harder than everyone was expecting. And that makes me so happy. You have no idea how happy it makes me, because a lot of people were criticizing the fact that I did a build around VAAL HAZAK, saying, why would you do it? It's super easy. I myself was saying in that video, I don't think you need to worry about a whole lot. And then he came out and everyone was like, oh my god, he's chunking me left, right, and center. The friggin' effluvium is kicking my ass. And yeah, that was some seriously fun times. Having said that, however, using the Hazmat Facebuster, which was the build that I posted previous to this video, I pretty much killed him on my first try without carding even once. But I did notice a couple of times that he hits you hard. So it's like, look, Hazmat Facebuster is still a no-nonsense build that I would highly advise. Like, if you're really struggling with VAAL HAZAK, just, you know, get the Hazmat Facebuster and just go ahead and do it. Most likely you'll be fine. However, I've also received a lot of people saying, Rurikhan, now you're always using this Facebuster, this friggin' gun lance of yours, and this is all you do. So today I figured, okay, I'm gonna bring you guys a different build that you can also use to tackle Arch-Tempered VAAL HAZAK. This time around we're gonna be using a charge blade. Namely, we're gonna be using a fire charge blade because, as you guys know, I'm not a huge fan of Elementalist playstyle. Sure, I've done it, sure, I've done builds around it, but my preferred playstyle still lies in Elemental. So I know a lot of you guys are going to say, oh, but you don't need this skill or that skill. It's like, look, this is a combination of skills that works together, okay? Now, when it comes to just advice for generic builds in terms of Arch-Tempered VAAL HAZAK, before we get into the specific build that I'm using, there are two skills that I would highly advise you to get, which are earplugs and naturally effluvium resistance. And why earplugs, you guys might be wondering, because he roars a lot. So if you're using any kind of weapon that does any kind of combo, like in the case of this build, we're using a charge blade. So whenever you are getting ready to do your super amped elemental discharge, the last thing you want to hear is VAAL HAZAK roar. And I can't tell, like, you can probably count it in the video, and someone might even do that, but you can count in the video the amount of super amps that I landed during a roar, okay? There were a lot of them, okay? And there was a lot of attempts before this one where I was testing out the build and doing minor adjustments where I hit a lot of super amped elemental discharge in the middle of roars. So I would highly recommend earplugs. And I know someone's gonna come in and, Rurikhan, you need earplugs, you can block and like, yeah, you can, but while you're doing all of those other things, I'm dealing damage, okay? That's how it works. Anyway, let's get over this build right now. So the weapon that we are using is the Halberion Blade. Now, this is the charge blade from Rathalos. If you guys ever seen my top 5 charge blades video, this is one of my favorite ones. In terms of looks, I think this might be, if not the best looking charge blade in the game. At least for me, it is definitely very close to that. Either way, on the Halberion Blade, you're going to be having 20% affinity. In our case, we're going to have 30 because we're actually going to be augmenting it with affinity, because I like critting. And I know people are going to say, oh, Rurikhan, but crits, they don't matter in terms of files. But here's what I got to remind people. I feel like I need to remind people all the time when it comes to charge blades. Your charge blade is not a weapon that all it does is file discharge, okay? There's a lot of stuff. There's your double charge slash. There's the follow-up slashes that I don't even know all of the names. There's the shield thrust. There's a lot of other attacks that can crit, not to mention super amped elemental discharge also has 2 hits that it does, 2 physical hits that deal a ton of damage, and if they crit, they deal even more damage. So if you're gonna come at me like, oh, Rurikhan, files don't crit, you don't need crit, I disagree, okay? Another very important thing that you should consider for fighting Arch-Tempered VAAL HAZAK is also a health regen augmentation, because that effluvium will tick your health down to nothing like nobody's business. As a matter of fact, throughout the video, the attempt that you guys are watching, you're going to see me go to camp to get more potions, because I use all of my potions throughout this attempt, okay? Same thing happened the first time I fought him, even with the Hazmat Facebuster. Same thing will happen. Anyways, let's get started on the rest of the build. On the head, we have the Basil Helm Beta. Naturally, we're getting this because we want to get them sweet earplugs. Then we got the Damascus Male Beta because I want focus, and I also want Tier 1 decoration slots to put in my Hazmat jewels. And I know, so here's another thing. Some people like to say, Charge Blade doesn't need focus, it's not that much of a difference. And to that, what I have to say is, I can't believe that you don't notice a difference between focus on a Charge Blade and having no focus on... I'm sorry. Anyone who says that, I'm sorry, dude. If you can't tell the difference, then I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's a massive, massive difference having focus on a Charge Blade. Then we got Kaiser Van Brace's Beta. This is to bring in an additional point of weakness exploit because I didn't want it to socket for it because I'm going to need these sockets for different things. Then we got Basil Coil Beta to get additional earplugs in there. And then we have Dante's Leather Boots. Now, arguably, if you joined in and you didn't get to do the Dante event, then I'm sorry. I don't know what you can replace these with. It's probably going to be a pain in the ass. Well, I guess you can craft Lunastras if you have Tenderizer jewels. And so you just get Lunastra's legs in there, but you're gonna struggle a little bit. Well, actually, you're not gonna struggle because the 2 gems that I have in here are actually not that big of a deal. Either way, then we have a handicraft charm wrapping things up, and like I suggested first time around, we got Vitality Mantle and Temporal Mantle. I'm actually considering instead of Vitality Mantle, depending on how reliable your positioning is, or how reliable you can predict where VAAL HAZAK is going to be moving, you might use a health booster instead to keep you up because, like I said, I used up all of my 10 potions. But the Temporal Mantle is definitely useful, in my opinion, because it allows you to it basically gives you a phase where you can go all out and not have to fear getting one shot at any point in time. Anyway, moving right along, when it comes to decorations on the Alberion Blade, we're going to be putting in a Blaze Jewel. On the Basil Helm Beta, you're going to put in another Earplug Jewel as well as another Blaze Jewel. On the Damascus Male Beta, you're going to have to socket in 3 Miasma Jewels. This, in my opinion, is a must. Otherwise, the fight is going to become ridiculously unpredictable because you can get the Miasma debuff at any point in time, and if he happens to get you with a hit immediately after the Miasma debuff, it's going to be a serious problem. Not to mention that I told you guys that I wasted all of my potions in this fight, so keep that in mind. Kaiser Van Brace's Beta, you're going to need a Charger Jewel, and I know not everybody has a Charger Jewel. It took me a long time to get 1 Charger Jewel, so if you don't have it in there, then put something else that is useful to you, but having 3 focus, like, I can't emphasize how much solid it feels on a Charge Blade to have those 3 focus. Personal opinion. Then Basil Coil Beta, you have Sharp Jewel because while we do have a little bit of white sharpness, it's not going to stay in there for very long, so the Sharp Jewel does extend that a little bit. And then on Dante's Leather Boots, I put 2 Expert Jewels. You don't have to put 2 Expert Jewels if you don't want to. You can put 2 Vitality Jewels, or like I said, if you don't have Dante's Leather Boots, then craft Lunastra's Boots and put 2 Tenderizer Jewels in there, and then you will have, you will essentially have the same effect, but instead of Expert Jewels, it'll be like if you had socketed in Vitality Jewels if you're not confident enough in your performance in this fight. Looking at the finalized build, you're going to have Earplugs level 5, so no roar bullshit, which means that you can pretty much beat his face inside out even while he's roaring, and in this fight, it is pretty important in my opinion. Weakness Exploit level 3, which is pretty much a must for any damage build. Focus level 3 because I really like focus on Charge Blades. Handicraft level 3 so that we can get into a comfortable zone of white sharpness so that it's not like, oh, my white sharpness is out, I gotta sharpen. So it actually lets you stay in white sharpness for a little bit even after your sharpness buff runs out. Effluvia Resistance level 3 to prevent you from getting one shot. Fire Attack level 2 because you can get Fire Attack level 3, but it's 10 fire damage, which will translate into like 1 additional damage, so not really a big deal in my opinion. 2 levels of Critical Eye or Health Boost depending on how you choose to spec this, and 1 level of Protective Polish to keep you in the white for as long as possible. And now we get to that part of the video where a lot of you guys might be asking, but Rurikhan, why would I put myself through the pain and suffering of fighting against this vicious beast? And the reason is very simple. You can actually get the Arch-Tempered VAAL armor set, which is the Gamma set, which is basically an alternative to the previous Alpha and Beta sets. And the cool thing about it is that it's got the appearance of the Alpha set, which is far superior to the appearance of the Beta set, which looks terrible in my opinion. So you get a cool looking armor set that also has an interesting set of skills, but most importantly, a super interesting set bonus, which is super recovery. I love that on that set. That set can just like recover for days, and that is something that I've incorporated into my Heartbreaker build, and I plan on doing a new version of the Heartbreaker build utilizing that set, maybe even doing a mix of Heartbreaker with Facebuster, and I think it is going to be insane! But anyway, beyond that, you're also going to be getting a new layered armor set in the form of the Death Stench set, which pretty much looks like Death Stench. I haven't unlocked it yet, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to show it in the video. But yeah, you also get a new layered armor set, so you'll want to do this at least until you get your 7 tickets. And remember, as per usual, you're going to be getting a ton of stream stones if you happen to be pretty successful with this hunt. So I would highly recommend you to go and do it. As a matter of fact, interesting thing happened in the attempt that you guys are watching. I got 3 VAAL HAZAK gems on the reward screen. I was like, what? I didn't even know such a thing was possible. But anyway, that is going to be it for this video, guys. Always remember, if you enjoy my content, you can subscribe, hit the bell icon so that you actually get notifications from my videos. And at this point, we will no doubt have the end slate so that you guys can click on any video that you choose to if you guys want to check out one of those 2 video suggestions. Otherwise, once again, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.